everyone, welcome to the Digital Talk brought to you by the Career Development Unit. Okay, since everyone is staying at home, I hope everyone is keeping safe and healthy. Make sure that stay fit, and since MCO has extended, the Career Development Unit has bring all the sharing session onto the digital platform, which is we will try to have the external engagement with the industry partners through this digital platform. And total we'll be having 4 series. So today will be our first series. We'll be talking about the personal branding 101. And I have my co-moderator, my colleague, Miss Najwa, and also our very special guest, and also a very special mentor, I would say. I really look up on her, Madam Hanie. Okay, so Najwa, maybe you would like to continue on this.
Hi, Hanie. It's nice to have you here with us.
I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah. Can we start by asking what is your background?
Well, my background. Okay. Well, my husband and I, we co-founded a company called Dragonfire Corporate Solutions about 8 years ago. The idea when we came up with this company is to help companies to be efficient in their performance, in their operations. But at the same time, we also want to make sure that we're helping out companies with their employees' engagement, especially in the areas of career management, because we think that career management and organizational effectiveness are hand in hand. Mm-hmm. So 8 years down the road, we're still here. We've been working a lot with organizations, GLCs, MNCs, and we have also worked with personal contributors as well. So it has been really an enriching journey, I would say, for the past 8 years. Yeah.
Okay, a very impressive profile you have, Hanie. Okay. Since today our topic is about personal branding 101, right? So, okay, maybe sure. You can briefly explain to us and also to our IMU students, how do you define a personal branding in a layman term?
Okay, well, I know that question will come out, and what I did was I've prepared quite a few bullet points just to remind myself. So I hope you don't mind me just jotting down some notes here. So personal. There are two things. Number one is personal brand. The other one is personal branding. Okay, so personal brand basically is a brand. Yeah, personal brand is your uniqueness. What are you bringing to the table? What makes you you? What makes a brand stands out from the others? What it means is that what makes you stand out than the others. But personal branding is the art of putting all of these packages into the market. And for fresh graduate, personal branding is how to be different than the others right out in the job market. So that's basically what it is. So don't get confused between personal brand and personal branding, but they go hand in hand together. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me try to demonstrate something here, Najwa and Doreen. Maybe I can share a slide. I actually prepared a slide, one deck of slides here. Just a moment, just to demonstrate brand. Yeah. Just a moment. There you go. Okay, so for example, these are brands. I'm sure all of us have seen it all.
Yeah, it's a very famous brand.
Yeah, yes.
These are really famous brands. But every brand, and you will notice that each of these brands doesn't have any explanation whatsoever to each of the logo, but we know exactly what it is. Example, the top left, that's the mermaid in green. It invokes certain, memories, certain thoughts. So Najwa, do you frequent to the outlet of this top
Yes.
coffee? You do, right? So what
Yes.
does it bring you? What do you think about this brand? What comes to your mind?
Coffee. When I look at the
Coffee.
logo, it's like coffee.
Yes, that's right. Some people relate this logo to hangout, lifestyle,
Mhm.
expensive, So each person brings different images to the logo. What about the one with the golden arch? Doreen, you want to attempt at this? The
Okay,
golden arch.
the moment I look at this logo, I will know definitely it's McDonald's.
Yeah, straight
See
away.
that?
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it's like no matter what kind of because I'm not a fast food lover, but whenever I look at this, whenever I drive along the highway or what, I see the billboard or maybe on only any windscreen car sticker, right? When I see the
Yeah.
M, I was just like, okay, McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yes, of course. To some people, this golden arch represents happy times with their children.
Mhm.
For me, it's a date night with my husband because we have an outlet just down the road, 5 minutes away from us, and we do our Friday or Saturday night date over there. Over ice latte and some cakes and all that. So it gives good memories. Uh,
Yes, good memories.
and that's and that's what brand is all about. And coming back to the concept of brand for fresh grads is how you identify your strength, your beautiful personality, and how you're going to package it up, and making sure people remember you for your brand,
On
so to
branding.
speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So there you go.
Okay. Thank you, Honey, for the explanation. So,
You're most welcome.
so just now you have explained to us what is brand and branding. So, what is the
Yeah.
importance of branding yourself as a fresh graduate?
Good question, Najwa. Now, brand itself, as we have discussed, plays a very important role for us to be a little bit different than the others, because you're unique in your own way.
Mm-hmm.
But why is this important? It's simply because your personal brand will be with you until the day you expire, I would say.
Okay.
So I liken it into like a driver. You're sitting in a car, and being the driver, you know where you're going to drive your car to the left, to the right, to from point A to point B. So if you don't take charge of your brand,
Mm-hmm.
other people will provide or design the brand for you. So because we're going to do this, why not we take charge over our own brand? So it's very important for you to create the kind of brand that you want, rather than for allowing others to create this brand for you. So you decide where you want to go, what you want to do, what sort of experience that you want to create associating with this brand. So it's very important. But on the other hand, now I'm just looking at my notes here. Um, we need to build this early because it will create trust, consistency. You need to build consistency in building the brand. When there's consistency, when there's trust, and people see you for whatever capability that you have, people will always remember you. It's just like what Doreen was saying. She sometimes when she drives on the road, on the highway, she will see
McDonald's.
logos, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and this will create brand recall. Brand recall. So that's the word, brand recall. Whenever you hear anyone who wants to get a photographer for an event, you will quickly remember who you want to call. So that's brand recall. That's an example.
Okay.
That's why. Yeah, and treat this like the ad the advertisement of your life. So you need to create this. You need to take charge. Yeah, you write well, share all this. So very, very important.
Okay, so
So
as
can
a
I
question,
consider?
sorry, Doreen, you
So
go
go ahead.
first.
So can we consider that personal branding as well? They need to have a very good CV to actually represent them as a brand.
Okay, good question. Again, you guys always have all these good questions. Like, I love talking to both
Because
of you.
I was just thinking, oh, is it something related to the CV writing? Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And absolutely. But here's the thing about CV, Doreen. CV only represents a very small part of personal branding. Because remember, personal brand is a lot of things. It's holistic. A CV is only part of the small tool to complement your personal brand. I mean, for example, for fresh grads, right? You definitely need to write a nice resume,
Yes.
when you start applying. But then, when you start applying for resume, how would fresh grads usually send theirs? Through job portal, through friends, through friend of friend, and then I can almost guarantee that this resume will fall into the golden triangle of lost resumes. It will
Yes.
never surface until 100 years down the road.
Mm.
So I'm not saying that we should not write good resume. We must have, because this is one of the important tools.
Mhm.
But I also would like to suggest fresh grads build their brand as well, so that when people have a brand recall about them, they can quickly produce their resume as quick as that. You need both. Without one or the other, it's not holistic enough. So you need a few things. You need tools. You need certain things to make sure that you are more successful and than the person next to you. Yeah. So
Okay.
CV is important. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
So
you,
Najwa,
Hanie.
you have question just now?
No, I think Doreen have very much covered that part already. It's basically the same question.
Okay, Hani, because I would
Good.
say in this personal branding, definitely there will be a lot of things that they need to focus. But maybe you can share with us like how a fresh grad can really
Mm.
focus on the personal branding. What are the three keys personal branding that the
Mm.
fresh grad should focus on?
The golden key.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, there are a lot of things that a person can do under this personal branding. Of course, there are certain things like you have to up your game in networking. For example, you need to connect with others, and of course this is through networking as well. You need to write, you need to make sure your lecturers know what you're doing, or come up with some ideas on what else that you can do in your capacity. And to my mind, Doreen, as a university student, there's like gazillion things that you can do. This is the time to shine, because by
Yes.
the time you land the job, then you're only focusing on just
Job.
job, your KPI, only so much that you can do, because your time will be taken away by a lot of other things. And then those who wants to get married, for instance, I don't know, we're not going to go there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are only a few things, but being a fresh grad, I think there are three key areas that they can do. For instance, let me just share with you some of my thoughts here. Um, Three key things to personal branding. Number one is visibility. Okay, number one is visibility. They need to
Visibility.
be visible in the eyes of lecturers, friends, and also now they have to start going into the market. Never mind,
Yes.
even if in the first year, it's okay. um, don't feel that you don't have anything with you. Actually, they have a lot of things with them. They have youth, they have time, they have energy that some of us, the older folks, don't have. So create that visibility, have fresh innovation ideas that you can have discussion. And what's the value proposition? Example, if they need somebody for mentoring, this is a fantastic way of reaching out, networking. So consistency of reaching out. For example, people will see you as they will put your name and your face. Each time they see something, they will think of you, yeah. And the last one, I would say again, is the consistency of putting yourself out. I find that working with students, Najwa and Doreen, based from my past experience, a lot of people, and not just fresh grads, they're not consistent in putting themselves out there.
Okay.
They might say that, oh, I'm introvert. I'm sure you guys have heard about this.
Yes.
Like, oh, I'm so shy. I don't go, I'm so shy and all that.
I cannot talk to people.
But yeah, I don't know what to talk about, but actually there's gazillion things for you to discuss. If I may invite all of these fresh grads to think it this way, consistency in putting yourself out there by sharing your thoughts, writing, commenting through social media, for instance, is your way of reaching out to your ideal goals or your ideal job later on. So the end goal, think about the end goal first. Don't think about the now is important as well, but the end goal is also important. And I'm very sure there are some students who have planned about their future of not being employed. For example, some of them want to be self-employed. So now is a good time to build your customer base. So now is a good time. So consistency. Yeah. So there are three areas: your visibility, your value proposition. What are you bringing to the table? What can you do? What sort of impact that you can do? And the third one is consistency. Yes, I know there are a few other things, but for our young friends, I think these three areas are the areas that they have in control for now. Yeah.
Hanie, you speak of consistency and then you speak of visibility. Does that all falls under communication? Meaning which students should have a good communication skill, both verbal and also writing skill, in order for them to be seen by the larger group of people?
Sure. Of course, to convey the right message, you need to have a certain skill. Communicating well, articulating your thoughts well, writing it down well. Again, depending on the platform that you have chosen, are you going to write on Facebook? Are you going to write on LinkedIn or Instagram, etc., etc.? But it just like any other skills, you need to be trained to do this or through experience. So let's start with the attitude first. I think with the right attitude and the right mindset, the willingness to learn, all of these skills will come in eventually. Because otherwise, if we want someone to write well and we tell them, go write this, but they're not trained, it will not come out well as well. So, let's start with the attitude first, the willingness to learn, and realizing that, okay, so if I were to write this, what would the impact be to my readers? I may say the wrong thing. I may write the wrong thing. So how can I improve my writing? How can I improve my social presence? In this platform, whatever platform that they have chosen. So yes, I agree with you. Communication skills is key. Learning the right language also is key. I've seen student influencers, where they write only in a certain language.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with it. Really, there's really nothing wrong with it. However, it's just like any other marketing medium. You need to know who is your end market, right? So if you write in a certain style, then who will be reading this? Eventually, you will learn to find your voice. So it takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of actually doing it, and then you find your voice. Your voice. Yeah, because right now a lot of people are just writing and communicating. They're still finding the footing, which is fine. Which is fine. I think now is the time to learn.
Okay, Hanie, thank you. I think that's quite clear. All right.
Okay.
Just now we spoke about the 3 rules or the golden key for branding. So now I want to ask you, what creates a unique branding?
Yeah, very, very interesting question. Tough one though. Okay, so what is how do you create the uniqueness of a brand? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so let me give you a thought about this. A brand is an expression of identity, and it will continue to build with or without you. As a fresh grad, first year, second year, or third year, I will call them young friends, right? To find their voice, it will take a little bit of time. But here, let me see whether I have something here. No, it's okay. Just a moment. All right. So to find that uniqueness, one of the first thing they can do is to ask themselves, what is your superpower?
Okay.
So what's your superpower? It's just like, superheroes, right? Superman, Batman, whoever your superheroes are. Yes, these people are all unique superheroes. So coming back to ourselves, we need to ask this hard question. So what's my superpowers? Let's start with that. So some of the workshops that I've facilitated, this is the very first basic question. I will ask them, so what's your superpowers? Somebody will say, hey, you know what? Actually, I don't have superpowers. I say, that's impossible. Everyone has superpowers. And then we talk a little bit more, and then somebody says, hey, I think I can cook biryani well. I remember this lady, and she said, I can cook biryani well so far. Everybody has enjoyed my cooking. I said, yeah, let's start with that. So she said, I can cook good biryani. Everybody loves my cooking. And the next question I asked her, so how can you take this biryani cooking into the next level? And she said, well, what I learned from here is I learned how to judge how much, how little in terms of measurement. How can I, sell this to the market and all that. So I said, do you get regular orders? She said, yeah, once in a while, once, twice a month. So I said, it's the same thing. So you have to ask your superpowers. It doesn't mean that superpowers you can get invisible and all that. No, superpowers are the things that you do really well because it comes from you. So, like for instance, Najwa, maybe you're great at baking cakes, for instance.
Okay, for instance. I'm actually great at eating cake.
Okay, me too. I can't bake.
Yeah, same.
Doreen, what's your superpower?
I can cook. I can bake.
Okay.
I can bake.
I can do plank for 2 minutes.
Yeah, see, everyone has superpowers of something. Yeah, and everyone has that. Every student has that. It can be anything at all. Let's start with that. It's all starting with a mindset, and that's where the uniqueness comes in.
Okay, so I think we have almost asked a few questions. I think it's almost covered like basic, because we're not going to have a very long session like we said before. So I think I will wrap up with a final question. Are you okay, Najwa, with that?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so maybe we already discussed like few keys of branding, and then on what is the branding terms and so on. I think, Hanie, maybe you can share to the IMU students on how actually the way they can actually strengthen their personal branding after knowing what is the term, what is the definition, what are the ways that the students can actually strengthen their personal branding.
Sure. So there are a few things that they can do first. Number one is to identify their superpowers. Okay. So superpowers, it can be passion, skills, interest. Skills, passion, interest. It can be sports, it can be cooking, it can be CSR, it can be anything. So find that one first as an anchor. Let's start with that anchor. Number one. Number two, let's look at the areas of improvement. Example, if you think that you need a little bit of prompting in learning how to write better. I won't say write well first, write better than what you're doing right now. There's so many channels where you can reach out to, to you guys, for example. Hey, how can I improve this? Or there's so many other avenues where you can improve your writing skills or communication skills. So you need that. And number three, and I think this is a little bit of it takes a little bit of prompting, is to network. Get yourself on social media. Get off from Facebook right now. I know a lot of fresh grads are still focusing on Facebook. Facebook is great. It's great. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's great, but it only enhances to a certain perimeter. LinkedIn is where your next level should be.
Yes, I agree.
So get onto LinkedIn, get onto engagement with the others. Challenge yourself a little bit more, and this is exciting. Because on that kind of platform, you can get connected to CEOs of organizations, to people who are outside of your universities. Go create some beautiful little projects during RMO. So this three things is important. Superpowers, bridging the gap of what you have right now, and just get connected. These three things. Oh yes, number four. We should not forget number four. Consistency. So don't expect you post once a month, people will remember you. No, unless you post up something really dreadful, people will remember you forever. So all these steps are very important. Let's start with that. Doreen, can I just add on to this? The reason why they need to build this quite well from now? Can I add a point?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let me put it this way. And I pulled out statistics yesterday. It says here, every year we have about 290,000 students graduating from institutions all over Malaysia. 290,000 students. 290,000 students, Najwa. That's a lot of fresh grads that comes out every year. 1 out of 5 graduates remain unemployed. And this is a very scary statistics. And I pulled these statistics out from the tracer study of Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi Malaysia for 2018. And these graduates make up 55% of those who are unemployed. 55%. Yes. So what I'm saying is, and I think this topic that we're having discussion today is very apt. How you brand yourself, how you put your brand out into the market now is more crucial than ever. Because a student, after graduation, a student may take a little while to be employed. Minimum 6 months nowadays? 6 months, sometimes up to 12
months. 6 months if they are lucky.
If they are lucky. I've seen up until about 1.5 years, 2 years, it's really scary. It's really scary. So while waiting for that ideal job, you still need to get a job. You need for your prepaid phone, you need to go for your coffee, whatever. So by building your brand early on will help you a little bit more than the person next to you. You may not get the ideal job for now, but you may want to put yourself out there as self-employed first, or being a student influencer, for instance, getting gigs, being paid for it. This is gig economy. Sometimes the reality is, you just have to go out there and look for this opportunity. If there's no opportunities for you, then you have to create this opportunity yourself. Don't have, you create. It's very possible nowadays. So build early on, be consistent, build your brand, put your brand out there. I think you're halfway through fighting the battle. So that's my last point that I want to get through to students, to our young friends.
Thank you so much, Hanie. I think I like everything that you have mentioned. I think this is a very good tips for MU students. Do you have anything to add, Doreen?
I think it was a very good session, Hanie. So we look forward for another 3 series with you. And then because we try to explain now why we make it short, because during this MCO time, we would like to share this video to our students so that they do not stress out with their exams, their classes, and so on. And at the same time, they can actually enhance their essential skill through this video.
Oh, by the way, if they are not yet on LinkedIn, for example, register an account. If they're already on LinkedIn, I'll be very happy to accept the request to connect. Let's start connecting. No problem.
Hanie, you said you are very much happy to receive their contact to connect. Can you tell them what's your LinkedIn account?
My URL.
Yes.
Yeah, look for my name is Hanie Razaif-Bohlender. That's Hanie, Hanie Razaif dash Bohlender. Just look for me. You will see, or Hanie, and you look for the career doctor. You'll definitely land on my profile.
Okay. Thank you so much, Hanie.
You're most welcome, Najwa.
Okay, thank you. I hope all of you students will be benefited from this video. But should you have any question with regards to personal branding 101, kindly email it to careerdev, careerdev @imu.edu.my from now until 6th of May 2020. And other than that, you may also want to follow our FB, IMU Career Development, our LinkedIn, IMU Career Development, and also our YouTube channel, IMU Industry Partnership and Career Development. Okay, I believe that's all the time that we have for today. So see you in the next session.
Okay, see you, Hanie. See you, Najwa.
Bye.
Bye.